I had my first son almost 18 years ago, I was having a lot of difficulty with breastfeeding. And I had heard about this place called the Breastfeeding Center in DC. And I called them and I went in. At the time, they just had one lactation consultant, maybe two. Pat Shelley, who was our founder, was my lactation consultant. And I thought she was this angel because she just helped me fix all my problems. And then I ended up having a wonderful, great breastfeeding experience that I don't think would have worked out without her support. And so then when I had that son, and then I had a set of twins, and I was staying home for a while, and I thought, gosh, it's time for me to think about going back to work, but I don't really want to go back doing what I was doing before. I love breastfeeding and the experience I had. This is what I want to do. I want to help other breastfeeding families. And so I went and did all the training, and now here I am working at the same place that I got my help from 18 years ago.
I was muted. I muted myself.
Oh, okay.
That's awesome. So your thing is breastfeeding. Okay, that's cool. So I guess I'm trying to figure out, so you're the one that we all call for lactation issues.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this is a personal question.
Sure.
Right? So I like to keep it as personal. What do we do with the mommies with inverted nipples? What do we do with the mommies that have like a low supply? Right. And then what do we do with the career mommies who want to go back to work? That's like a loaded question.
That's a lot of questions.
I know. It just came to me. I was like, I need to ask all these things.
So we offer, again, we can offer individual help on all of those issues.
Okay.
We do have a free return to work support class. So a lot of our classes, and as you mentioned, we're nonprofit. So a lot of our classes and support groups are free or low cost. So we do have a free return to work support group. So we usually recommend people come and take that 2 or 3 weeks before they're getting ready to go back to work. We talk to them about pumping at work and milk storage and how to juggle all that and make it all work. And again, this is all virtual right now, but people can go to our website and sign up for any of these classes or groups. What else did you say?
Low supply, inverted nipples.
Yeah, there are so many reasons why people might be dealing with low supply issues. There's not a one size fits all answer to that question. So in that situation, you would really probably want to meet with an IBCLC one-on-one, so we can really delve into your health history, your birth history, get a good look at the latch, figure out what's going on, if there's any underlying issues that are contributing to the low supply, and help you figure out what we can do to increase your supply. I mean, that's what we do. That's
important because, I mean, tell me if I'm wrong, but I feel like moms who have a low supply are often put in these places where they have their only choice is to give up without even like, hold on, wait, let's go back to look at everything that's going on with you that can cause you to have a low supply. Because I believe if you really want to breastfeed, I had issues with my milk, but I was like, I know this is what I really want to do. And so I was lucky to have family to support me.
Right.
A family member who breastfed, to be clear, supported me. It's like, no. That's why I asked about the inverted nipple. She's like, let me see your nipples. I was like, what? She's like, oh, and she pulled her nipples out. She's like, see, the same nipple. You gotta do this.
Yeah. So I mean, and that's why it's so important to have support and to have help. Yeah. Whether it's family members, whether it be community, if you're really struggling, getting professional help. But having that support network is so important, because if you're just kind of out there flailing around by yourself and you don't know anybody that's breastfed, or you don't have people to talk to or compare nipples with, you don't know what to do. So, the inverted nipple thing is something that people with inverted nipples can breastfeed, but there are a lot of things we can do to help make that easier, especially if we do prenatal consultations. We see people ahead of time. I get a lot of pregnant moms coming to see me because their OB or their midwife told them they have an inverted nipple. They didn't know they have an inverted nipple because they don't go around looking at nipples all day. They just know it's there. So they come in, they can meet with me. We can talk about, there are things you can do ahead of time to prepare to make sure that you're going to be able to repeating myself, be able to get your baby latch, and what are some tools that we can use to help you be successful. So so all of those things are things that we help with.
That is awesome. And I'm hoping we you guys work with the moms who had to just like, you know, I can't breastfeed. You guys, when I was there, correct me if I'm wrong, you guys have like donor milk?
We do, yes. So we are, so for those who aren't familiar with donor milk, there are, I think, about 20 human milk banks in the United States. And so mothers who have more milk than they need, they can become milk donors, and they go through a screening process, of course, and then they ship their milk to the milk banks. Well, the Breastfeeding Center of Greater Washington is a milk depot. So people that are approved donors can drop off their milk, we'll store it for them and ship it for them to the milk banks. And so then the milk banks, they pool the milk, process, pasteurize it, and they send it back out across the country, mostly to hospitals. A lot of hospitals, especially in the NICUs, use donor milk. But because we have our breastfeeding center clients provide so much milk to the milk banks, we also do have it available for our clients if needed. And you know, so that's an option as well. You do have to have a prescription from your pediatrician to get it. But yeah, we do have it available for families.
I love it. You know.
Yeah. There's also a lot of informal milk sharing that goes on. I mean, if you think about it, before we had all these milk banks and things back in the day, people, if they didn't have enough milk, they got milk from their sister or from their best friend. And that's so true. There is still quite a bit of informal milk sharing going on, where a mother that may have a freezer full of milk and she knows she's never going to use it, puts it out on, there's various websites out there that they can, so people are connecting and sharing milk that way too. But in terms of the breastfeeding center, we have the milk available from the milk banks that's screened and pasteurized.
That is cool. Because I remember I was there, I was like, hey, I feel like I see a signboard or someone was picking some up. And I thought that was really cool because I've heard from a doula that I talked to last week, she had a baby. The hospital just like quickly said, can't breastfeed, give the baby formula. And she's like, wait, what are my options? They're like, oh, well, you could do the donor, human milk. But she's like, wow, like I was just forced to get formula. And I think that is an issue for a lot of moms. They're not given they want to advocate for their baby. That's something I learned. Right. Like advocate for your baby. Right. They don't know it exists.
Right. Well, and they're scared too. If a doctor comes into your hospital room and tells you, oh, your baby lost 11% of their body weight, we've got to feed your baby. Here's a free bottle of formula, but they don't give them other options. Mm-hmm. Of course, you're going to take that formula and feed your baby because you don't want to starve your baby. Yep. But that's where we see a lot of these families come to us. They weren't given options. They weren't told, oh, you should get pumping, or, oh, here's this option. Oh, here's what we can do. You can give your baby formula, but in the meantime, we have to start pumping to make sure that your milk supply comes in. Mm-hmm. So again, there's that, we see a lot of that kind of stuff where people aren't getting all the information that they need.
Okay.
Unfortunately.
So how important is it, do you think, to be educated, to educate yourself on not only the benefits of breastfeeding, but on how to breastfeed? Because I was a mom, new mom, didn't know anything about breastfeeding. I really just thought you take your breast out your bra and you put it in the baby's mouth.
Well, yeah, I mean, sometimes it works that way. I mean, the breastfeeding tends to work. That's why the human race has survived as much as, as long as we have. But yeah, there are a lot of people that have challenges, and there are a lot of reasons people have challenges. Mm-hmm. And so I am a huge proponent of preparing. We prepare for the birth. We make a birth plan, and we tour the hospital or the birth center, and we get everything ready for the big day. But a lot of times we forget to prepare for then what comes next after the baby is born, which is feeding the baby. So, we have free breastfeeding basics classes that we offer. We also have some, like I said, other low-cost classes that delve a little more into baby care and pumping and things like that. One of my favorite parts of my job is that I actually teach a breastfeeding class for fathers and partners.
Ooh.
And so research shows that when the partner takes a prenatal class, that they've educated themselves on the benefits and the basically how breastfeeding works and how they can be supportive, that those outcomes are better too than when the families don't do that. And I know not everybody has a partner, but you know, for those families that do, it's a really great class. And I teach that once a month on the third Saturday of the month. So I just had it 2 days ago. But if anybody's interested, they're welcome to come sign up on our website. Again, that's a free class, and for the foreseeable future, it'll be via video. But I think that you'll get a lot out of it. So yeah, so just basically doing as much research, as much reading, taking classes, all those things before baby arrives, just to prepare yourself. But I do sometimes joke that, you know, talking to people about breastfeeding before you actually have your baby is a little bit like trying to teach someone to ride a bike before they actually have the bike. You know, it's like, oh, here's what you do, here's what you do, here's what you do. But until you actually meet your baby and like try it, it's a little bit of a
that's true
concept. It's conceptual, right?
I agree with you. I mean, you can't teach everything. You just got to get in it. And that, you know, that's the beautiful thing about motherhood, and kind of scary, or just parenthood. Nobody gives you a training manual. You kind of just figure it out. Like, I've been a mom, I have 8 years experience, and I'm still figuring things out.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, I have 3 teenagers. I wish someone would give me a manual for them.
You win. You have more experience than me. All right. This is one of my fun questions I always like to ask my friends, or especially a lactation consultant. What are all the magic benefits of breast milk? Like, what is, like, we know that someone said, like, use it for eczema. What are all the benefits or magic purposes of breast milk?
Aside from just having the baby.
Just besides, yes.
Oh gosh. Well, you know, sometimes babies get these like little blocked tear ducts in their eyes, and they get like little goopy eye. You can drop some breast milk in their eye, and that helps clear that up. It's really good for your skin. A lot of people, if they end up finding some old expired breast milk in the freezer, they'll give the baby a little breast milk bath. You know, so there are lots of little fun things you can do. Some people will just use breast milk as sort of as a nipple, you know, rub it on their nipples after they breastfeed because it's very soothing. But breast milk is pretty magical. You know, I always like to talk about the fact that when a breastfeeding parent is exposed to a virus or a bacteria within 2 hours. So if, you know, you're walking down the street or you're in the grocery store and someone sneezes and they have the flu or a cold, and within 2 hours, the body has made antibodies and is passing on antibodies to that particular virus onto your baby. So it's really a living fluid that is very specific to what your baby needs on any given day.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, kind of cool. Kind of cool.
Breast milk can like heal the world. I really wanted to. Is there anything else you want us to know about the Breastfeeding Center and what you all are doing in the community? Because I found you guys through a Google search because I'm a Google mom, and I have been to the Breastfeeding Center several times, and like the staff, you guys are super friendly, super nice, and I just want to know if you wanted to tell us anything else that you guys are doing in the community, anything else about the Breastfeeding Center.
Yeah, well, like I said, we are in network with a lot of the major insurance carriers. So, you know, if you don't have one of those insurance carriers and you can't afford the out-of-pocket costs, we work with people. We don't turn anyone away. Like I said, we're nonprofit, so most of our or many of our classes are free. You know, we've done things like trade volunteer hours for consultations. We really want to work and serve as many people as possible. And again, now that we're virtual, we're not just limited to those who can get to our office or those who, you know, we do home visits and office visits. So, you know, if somebody lives further away and we wouldn't normally see them just because of distance, we're happy to see you now because we can do it via video. And again, take advantage of our classes and support groups. If you go on our website, breastfeedingcenter.org, you can see there's a link to see all of our classes and support groups, and there's also a link to schedule individual consultations. So we're out here, the world's kind of shutting down, but people did not stop having babies, and babies did not stop needing to eat. So we're still here to help.
You're absolutely right. Well, I want to say thank you, Gina, for coming on for a super organic, this is super organic Moon Baby Chat. I just wanted to learn more about the Breastfeeding Center, and because you guys are a local, you're a community resource in the DMV, and that's important that we know that you guys exist. And you are helping moms.
We really appreciate you talking to us today, and I hope you and your family stay safe and healthy.
Yes, we are. I am practicing social distancing at its best. So I'm doing good, and I hope you and your family and your teenagers are doing good.
It's a challenge. It's a challenge. We're trying.
Well, thank you, and thank you for doing a Moon Baby Chat with us. It was that easy.
Okay, great, Candace. It was nice